All right, are we ready to get started, you guys? Here we go. It has been a hot minute since I have live streamed, guys. I will tell you a little secret. I've been at this all day. I I was stressing about it last night. My wife was rubbing my back. For those of you who haven't caught up with the up and up, I got married this last year, and she is fantastic. She was rubbing my back last night, because technology, man, stresses me out, which is ironic because I'm a YouTuber, and that's, well, not as much as cars stress me out and car parts and fixing that. And then thankfully her dad is very good at that. Wants to teach me. I can't learn. I can't do it. Bro, hey, who do you have in the chat? We got Dylan, awesome. Jacob Sherbert. No, sorry, not Dylan. Dayan. Is that how you say it? Dayan. And then Jacob Sherbert. And then Robot Knight. Been watching the channel for a while. First stream ever. Can't wait to. Hey, great first stream. That's awesome. I used to try to do these. I don't know, basically every other week. Back in the good old days. But it's something that I haven't done. The YouTube thing is just something I haven't done for a while. But it's not that I never left. I just stopped doing videos, but I always kept on the up and up with D&D. And anyways, I'm glad to be in a live stream again for you, specifically Robot Knight, today, which is exciting. And so we'll be getting some people in from the channel. So all our acolytes will be here, as well as some people that are coming from the actual Kickstarter. So the Captain's Logbook Kickstarter. Super exciting how that all worked out. So the creators basically reached out to me and said, like, hey, we want to kind of partner with you and maybe sponsor one of your videos. And I'm like, oh man, I'm swamped. I am swamped. I just started the YouTube. I got a couple videos already lined up, already made, and a couple other ads that are ad spots. And so I'm like, what about this? If there's like something else that I can do for the book, then let's talk. And basically we kind of came down to a stretch goal in the Kickstarter that if we got to, I would make a live stream subclass for the book. So whatever we go through today will be published inside the book on launch. And so when it eventually gets to all of you guys, this will be there for all of you guys to enjoy. So it'll be kind of fun where you guys get to help me make it, and then you in turn kind of help create the finished product in the book, which is kind of fun. Another thing that I'm trying to do today, we have hey Asaya, how you doing? Let's go. And then Hive Insider. Hivel, why do L's look like eyes in our characters? I feel like that's an oversight. Anyways, good to have you back. Thanks, Hive Cider. Thank you. We do also have some people coming into the short stream. So I'm trying this. Apparently there's a way that you can stream via regular video. So, you know, like the horizontal form, this right here. And then there's also the short form, which is the vertical form where you know, like TikTok. And so we're doing both, and we're seeing how that works. And we're seeing if that is actually good. I'm hoping that my internet will hold up, because I am in my new places. This place here is me and my wife moved here, and so the internet's a little bit different. It's not where I used to stream back in my old place, so it's all an adventure, as it always is with the Cleric Corner and all of us. Yeah, we got to make a good subclass, Hive Insider, for sure. Says capital I looking for the L is the problem that totally sounds terrifying. Yeah, that's it's the problem for most fonts, unfortunately. Yeah, so anyways, what we're going to do is we kind of have a few ideas for this Druid Water subclass. And there will be... Actually, maybe I'll just make that now. Another cool thing that everyone started to do is a poll. Actually, before I do a poll, I'm going to show you guys kind of what we're working on so far. And then as people are coming in, we'll kind of reintroduce things. Oh. We can hear us, right? That's weird. So I assume that you guys can hear me because you're interacting with my chat, but then on my audio thing, it's saying that I am completely mute. So if I'm mute, please tell me. If not, we'll just continue on. Okay. So this is what we're looking at here, guys. Druid water subclasses. And I kind of thought of like three kind of themes that would be unique enough that it's not just a generic water druid, right? Where it would be an interesting concept that would need to be further fleshed out. First one is the Circle of Coral. And I had posted this in a community post yesterday, and some of you commenters actually had some really cool ideas, so I wrote them down. So obviously the Circle of Coral would have like a coral armor, where it would be a hardened version of something, or maybe the wild shape can summon this coral armor. And then within that armor, animals can come out and help it attack, or actually, let me zoom this in a little bit. And then we can consume part of the coral, and maybe there's like almost like an Armor of Agathis kind of thing, if you're familiar with that spell, where you get temporary hit points and then you can shave down that hit points as you're using that as a resource for other attacks. I think that'd be dope. There's also the Circle of the Abyss, which is like the deep sea abyssal druid, and so you obviously have things like bioluminescence. Another commenter said like pressure differences, like force damage would be really, really interesting. The bends, which I actually have to look up exactly how that works, because I'm super interested in using that. And then basically the death of the deep ocean, where everything dies and so it sinks to the bottom. So there's almost like and I feel like this one might be separate than like this stuff, because you have one Circle of the Abyss, which is focused on like force and the deep cold and just the sheer danger, I guess, of the abyss. And then where this one focuses almost on the necromantic part. And then there's a Circle of Piracy, which I thought like that might be an interesting thing. I haven't really thought about anything in that regard, or what we should do for that. But I do think that would be fun to maybe have a pirate or like a little parrot familiar, or the ability to be proficient in vehicles or water vehicles, and just like what might a Circle of Piracy being a druid might look like. Because just as druids are nature based or derive their magic from nature, it makes sense that pirates might do it, right? And we're just talking all about flavor here, right? So anyways, there's a couple other people. Dak Eyes 28. Hey, good. You can hear me. Great. Trevor Noon, you made it. Awesome. Hope you're doing well as well. It's been a while. So I mean, I feel like here I am saying like, hey, I got married this year. Well, you guys probably had a lot going on this year too. So if you have something cool you want to share, go ahead and share it in the chat. Don't druid subclasses gain special spells, Robot Knight? Yes, they do. So actually right here, so I can pull up some druid stuff. Let's see what would be a good example. Circle of the Wildfire. So we will be going to circle spells, like what kind of spells we want to do. I'm thinking today's stream will probably be around 2 hours. It just depends on how much we get done, right? And I don't think that we'll get everything done, but we'll get the basic done for sure. So circle spells here, basically at certain levels you get new spells that you don't have to learn, or may not even be on your spell list, to complete the ensemble or complete the picture for your druid. Also, Circle of the Abyss could work well for an Aberration Druid if we want to lean for that. Ooh, yeah, that would be interesting. Like almost like a Cthulhu Druid. And that would be an excellent tie-in there. Circle of Coral should have zoanthids and polyatoxin, colorful and deadly. I love the science. I want to dive into that science. If we go that route, please let me dive into that science. I'm the kid that put up National Geographic. I still put on, like, if I go to Netflix, I'm going straight to the documentaries. I live for that stuff. Trevor Noon, oh man, where do I begin? I got into pro DMing and now I'm building a whole program for this restaurant. Whoa, hey, a restaurant. That's awesome. Good for you. I assume they're separate, or are they together? Like a pro DMing restaurant, which would also be really cool. You could eat and like play a game at the same time. I would pay to do that. Has to be player's handbook spells. Yeah, unfortunately it does. It does. We might, just for the heck of it for this stream, since they can't fault us here, we might pick some spells that maybe you could use as a homebrew if you pick it up later. But yes, we do have to do player's handbook, non-copyright spells, that I think, yeah, maybe looking at this one. I don't know if Fire Shield is on there. So anyways, I'll have to look it up. Third-party spells would be amazing. Obviously, we couldn't do that as well for copyright reasons or intruding on their stuff. If there are spells within the book of the Captain's Logbook, the Kickstarter that we're doing this for, I am not aware of those or did not see any of those. So we would not be able to use any of those. Trevor Noon, I would love the idea of Water Druid that literally turns into a glob of water, maybe something like the Water Sorcerer. Ooh, excuse me. I just ate right before this guy, so I might be a little... that would also be really, really cool. We could make like 4 different kinds of Water Druids and each of them be completely different. And that's why I love homebrew and that's why I love flavoring these stuff. So anyways, okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start a poll. Which one? First poll ever, guys. This is exciting. Okay, so Coral Druid and then the Abyss Druid. And then we're going to do a Pirate Druid just for funsies. I don't see a lot of comments for the Pirate Druid, but who knows. So we're going to start the poll, and it's going to come up on your end. And then you guys can just click away. Let me know which one we want to focus on. I wouldn't rip into one-on-one, but inspiration could be nice. For the Water Druid. I mean, yeah. I mean... Okay, so there is one that might be really good for you, and I'm trying to think, or at least an inspiration when it comes to a water-based druid that would do that kind of thing. And it's really fun. I have basically a catalog or a Wikipedia-like storage system of all the subclasses that I've ever gotten on any third-party stuff on like one program or one page. And so I can look for stuff really easily when it comes to homebrew. And let me see. There is something called the Ooze. Oh, I made it. That's funny. That is funny. So the Ooze is a warlock patron that basically does a similar thing. And you know what? Actually, I'll bring this over just so that I can show you guys actually. So, this is the Ooze. And we can use this for inspiration or whatever, but so the Ooze in this sense is a warlock patron that I did for one of my players who wanted to be an Ooze and obviously could change into one or split, things like that. There's a pseudopod that you can attack with. You have, and it does, I believe it does acid damage. Yeah, acid damage. You can go completely amorphous, which you change into an Ooze. You can squeeze through small spaces and you can go crazy. And then, it's a little weird on TikTok, or not TikTok, the Shorts view, but that's okay. You can see it all. Acidic defense. When you're hit by a melee attack by a creature with 5 feet, you can deal acid damage to them. So exactly what you would expect with an actual Ooze creature. Sticky form, climb difficult surfaces, and then split. That one's really cool because you can split into multiple versions of yourself and do along there. So I don't know. When you said like, oh, I want to change into into a blob of water, this is exactly what I imagined. But it's something like that, where you basically take on a water elemental, look at the stats of the water elemental, and see what you want to duplicate when it comes to doing that. And I feel like that would be really, really good. Let's go back to stuff. Hey, we got Yuki in the chat, the Adoraburb, love it. What database do you use, Trevor Noon? I use Notion. So I freaking love Notion. I used OneNote. I used OneNote for forever, for like 2 years, and then it just wasn't enough. There wasn't a lot of what's the word? Not a lot of interact. I couldn't do a lot in OneNote as far as searching, as far as cross-referencing, as far as like a Wikipedia type search function goes. So it didn't work out, and so I turned to Notion. Never looked back. Never looked back. Notion is so cool, so awesome. The Dungeon Coach, if you know him, he'll swear by it too. Love it. It looks like I'm gonna look at the poll here. It looks like we got a 73% for Coral Druid. Okay, let's do Coral Druid. I feel bad because the Abyss Druid did sound so cool as well, especially with the tie-in to like an aberration. I might have to just make that. I might just have to at some point. Okay, so let's do that. So let's do some ideas for the Coral Druid. So again, when we make a subclass, we want to get the feeling of what we expect from the subclass. Because if you, as a player or as a dungeon master coming across this subclass, and you read Circle of Coral, what do you expect to be able to do? And if you have ideas, please share. One, coral armor. Two, being able to summon animals with coral attacks, I think is great. So let's think of some others. Coral druids, I don't know, it might be fun because we know about the life and death of a coral. And what if there was some mechanic where upon your death or upon you reaching 0 hit points that maybe your armor class increases, or there's some sort of necromancy, maybe tying in the necromancy part of the deep ocean death that we were talking about before. Like, that's kind of where my mind goes. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up just coral, and we're going to learn about coral because that's where inspiration goes, right? That's where inspiration is. Defense and healing. We could, there could be like a healing, maybe like a bio, what's the word I'm looking for? Like an environment where living things are, like what's the word? Yeah, anyways, different animals living in the same place, interacting with each other, making an ecosystem. That's the word I was looking for, an ecosystem. Grow coral in the environment. Ooh, that's good, but might have to reflavor plant growth and such. Yeah, that's true. It could be just a reflavor of plant growth, but we'll write it down anyways and maybe come back to it. Oh, where was I? There we go. So we'll have coral growth. Maybe if you grow this coral on you and you basically, when somebody else attacks, you hurt them. Maybe do some piercing damage or some slashing damage when they hit you, because it is very sharp. Coral is very sharp. A wild shape feature option you can pick between... Oh, Brian Webster. Hey, buddy. That's one of my players. So wild shape feature option, you can pick 3 coral options. Would be crab coral for extra armor, barracuda for extra speed and attack, and maybe something like sea anemone for something. Oh, then rage damage when hit. I do like that. I also like this, what we were kind of talking about before, where you have the coral armor and then you have a resource with the coral armor. So with the wild shape, you would have like different options, maybe one being let's see here. Oops. Like one option being the extra armor, so like extra AC. Let's do that. Let's say AC. And then we have barracuda for an attack, and then we have sea anemone. Maybe that could be our lightning damage when someone hits us. Biosphere, hive inside. That's another great word. And then symbiosis as well. Both exactly the words that could have been helpful for my brain to realize. Coral is photosynthetic and symbiotic, absolutely. And that's kind of another thing that I want to get across, is the symbiosis of it, which would be really cool. So symbiotic. Maybe even symbiotic with the people around them, and that could be like the healing part, but I don't want to deal too into healing, because you have the Circle of Dreams druid, which is kind of like the healing druid, even though it's not, it kind of is. And then, but it could be something where you could maybe protect your companions. Maybe have a maybe give them armor, or maybe even create a wall of coral, but that could also be another reflavor of another spell, like wall of stone, something like that. Robot Knight says, what if what if mechanics change the longer the coral remains in use? Yeah, so that, and yeah, so Sorry, I'm saying yes a lot because I'm a lot of ideas at once, kind of blah, blah, overloads the brain. So when summoned, it uses alive capabilities. After a minute or so, it uses decay abilities. Okay. Okay. So maybe while it's alive, maybe we can use all of this stuff, like the extra AC, the Barracuda attack, the see an enemy, that kind of stuff. Using main features. Then when it dies or decays, there is something else. It just reverts to another state where you are maybe have an aura of necrotic damage. Aura of necrotic could be something else. Yeah, second Brian's wild shape idea. Great. We can go that direction for sure. Coral armor could work like armor of Agathis, if you like, working as big as pool of a temp HP. Yeah, and that's exactly what we were looking at too. Here, let me pull up armor of Agathis, so we can look exactly what. Do you spell it? Oh no, I gotta spell Agathis. Hey, look at me. Agathis, armor of Agathis. So this is how the armor of Agathis works, and maybe armor of Agathis is a spell that we give to this druid if it's, you know, part of the OGL. A protective magical force surrounds you, manifesting a spectral frost that covers you and your gear. You gain 5 temporary hit points for the duration. If a creature hits you with a melee attack, while you have these hit points, the creature takes cold damage. So pretty straightforward. You gain temporary hit points while you have this going on, and then you release the hit points as a result of damaging someone else with that power. Hey, Flute. Hey, welcome. Glad to see you, buddy. Glad to see you. So, Asaya says, controlling fallen enemies with coral adding to your biosphere. Interesting. Controlling fallen enemies with coral adding to your biosphere. So, like a puppeting feature, like you control them with the... Maybe I guess I'm struggling to figure out exactly what you mean by that. But it would be cool to... Are you saying like adding other people or adding other creatures to your biosphere? It says Robot Knight, like while alive it gives armor, but while decayed it doesn't give bonus armor, but instead hurts anyone who makes an attack. Yeah, that could be true. Maybe we just give that option. Maybe we just give the option like, hey, you can use your wild shape for the living coral, or give your wild shape for the decayed coral, or bone coral, or however you say it. I love that idea. And so you can either, like, as you play this druid, now you have two separate kinds, or two separate ways of playing this. You can play it in your living coral, a very fresh, vibrant, colorful, life-giving druid, or you could be the one that takes, the one that drives power from the death and the decay and the necromancy of the coral. And I think that would be really, really cool. We can play heavily into Corsola or Cursula. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic inspiration. For those of you who don't know, Corsola, they're Pokemon. Corsola and Cursula. Basically, you have a Pokemon that was once a... actually, can you see this on the thing? Maybe we'll just pull that up here. Yeah, so basically, it's a Pokemon that in one region was like a water type because he was a living coral, and then in later regions they redid it as a separate Pokemon and a dead coral. So you had two different types, one type being water, one type being ghost. And so yeah, this is exactly what I would be talking about. Absolutely. Okay, so a little bit more research. Coral group is a colony of very many genetically identical polyps. Each of the polyp is a sac-like animal, typically only a few millimeters diameter, a few centimeters in height. Set of tentacles surrounded by a central mouth opening. So it talks about different kinds of corals. Taxonomy. Oh, wait. Here we go. Some corals are able to catch plankton, small fish, using stinging cells on their tentacles. Yep, yep. That's where we can do the lightning damage. And this could be also the different part. Like if you do the living coral, you can do lightning damage upon attacks, or if you are a death coral, you do necrotic damage upon hits, which I think would be really interesting. They're commonly known as zooxanthellae and give coral color. Let's see. Corals they live globally in deeper water such as cold water. There's a lot of information here. And I don't want to be boring and just read all this if this doesn't interest you, but interests me. Owing to have similarities to both plants and animals, corals do. Is books on stones implying that they're minerals. I don't think we'll use any of this stuff. Systematics. Delineation of coral species is challenging. Classifications of corals, hard coral, soft coral. That'd be interesting. Let's see. Environmental factors such as the rise of temperatures or acid levels in our ocean can't account for specific corals in this form of species lost. So that'd be the main damage of them dying. Anatomy. For most of their life, coral is sicily animals. Wow, we're really showing my vocabulary here. Of colonies that genetically identical polyps. So, like a couple of you said, like a community. Each polyp varies from millimeters to centimeters in diameter, and colonies can be formed from many millions of individual polyps. Stony coral, known as hard coral, polyps produce a skeleton composed of calcium carbonate to strengthen and protect the organism. This is deposited by the polyps by the living tissue that connects them. Great. So it's the calcium deposit or skeleton of the actual colony. Single species may adopt encrusting plate-like bushy columnar massive solid structure. Body of a polyp can be roughly compared to a structure of a sac. Let's see. Okay, then it goes to soft corals and stony corals. So soft corals have no solid exoskeleton. Small supportive elements known as sclerites made of calcium carbonate. Soft corals are considerably in form. Most are colonial. Few soft corals are stolonate. But the polyps are connected by sheets of tissue called coenasarc. You guys writing all this down? These are all names for your D&D characters. Stolonate, coenasarc. These are, if you are going to be a druid of a circle of coral, these are your names for your for your guys. Zooxanthellate is another one. That's a good one. Gorgonin. Awesome. Okay, stony corals. The polyps. Polyp is another one. Another good one. You can be Gorgonin polyp of the seven seas. Pollen of stony corals have a six-fold symmetry. Stony coral tentacles of cylindrical and taper. Okay, so this is talking about a lot of the shape of them. Trying to find something a little bit more useful here. Hive Insider. Will this be on the test? Yeah, right. Yeah, this will be. We're gonna take all this. We're gonna write it out. It's gonna be under the druid inside the actual the book. There will be a test involved as well to unlock it. Nicholas Locke, sweeping tentacles that a lot of corals use for offensive are harpoon like. Yeah, so maybe we can have like maybe instead of a barracuda attack, we could also do like a harpoon paralytic, which would be very, very interesting. I think corals as well as a lot of fish have paralytics where you can essentially paralyze someone, and that would be very interesting. I don't think a druid has been able to do that before, so writing that down. Polyp sounds more like a nickname for a cute or small character. Yeah, a little gnome or halfling druid of the coral, a little polyp. Absolutely. Robot Knight says, now thinking about it, very few druids represent both life and death. It's usually one or the other. So having a druid subclass that plays both is interesting. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. And maybe like as we level up, we can add to both of those forms. And I think leaving it up to the individual on whether they go good or bad, I think would be really interesting as well as far as a roleplay standpoint. Because maybe they're all good and they always just do the living coral thing. And then maybe down the road, either they get frustrated or their backstory develops in a way that they almost have like an evil arc, and they kind of choose into the death and decay of their domain, which would be very, very interesting. Okay, so reproduction. I mean, probably interesting, but I don't think we'll be using reproduction in our Coral Druid. I think they're basically asexual anyways, right? Yeah, asexual. Genital polyps reproduce asexually, are dividing probably like cells, right? Colony division, coral microbes. Yeah, again, the spreading and the it would be kind of interesting. I think I like what one of you said, where you create difficult terrain, and maybe that difficult terrain like grows every turn, which would also be interesting. Get over here, style move. Should we be making this tank support druid? I think it might be a tank with the armor that we're going to tie into it. I think would be very, very interesting. It could be like a bear totem where each level up option they could pick the living or dead coral option. That's exactly what I was thinking. That is exactly what I was thinking. See if there's anything else that we can look at here. So reefs, coral reefs. Ooh, here we go. Involved in building reefs such as coral, obtain some of their energy. Acquire sunlight. Reforming corals are therefore found mainly in shallow water. They secrete calcium carbonate to form hard skeletons that become the framework of the reef. However, not all reef building corals in shallow water contains zoothalae. So maybe we should be writing some of these down as spells that we can use. So spells would be like Wall of Stone would be a good way to reflavor that. Another one, which one was it? Spike Growth. I also think maybe like a Darkness. No, you know what? It would also actually be interesting to split this up into two, because you might have a spell list for your circle of the living, like the living coral, and you might have some spells for the death coral. This is I'm excited, but this is going to be a lot of work, and not saying that in a bad way, but it's going to take a lot, and it's actually going to be a lot in it. So also it's going to be very, very good. Encrusting is a good word with corals. Yep. Good suggestion in the chat. Only reinforces my belief that more people should play around with homebrew ideas. Always play around with homebrew. I mean, you just think of Wizards of the Coast, the official Dungeons and Dragons. You don't have a dragon warlock, right? I think the Dungeon Dudes came out with a video recently about this, where there's like a bunch of subclasses that should be made that are not made, but should be. The Warlock of the Genie for a while wasn't made, but we finally got that. Excuse me. But the Dragon Warlock is a no-brainer, because you could make deals with dragons all the time, and why isn't there one? And so you have to turn to homebrew for some of these things. Robot Knight, exactly. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. And yeah, Robot Knight, that's what it would be, is long rest. You can swap over the spells. And I think another option, or another one that we can look to for inspiration, is the Sorcerer, which has I think it was the Lunar Sorcery. So they basically did this with the Lunar Sorcery. So you learn additional spells when you reach certain levels in the class, as per the table. Each of these sorcerer spells for you, but don't count against the number of spells you know. So whenever you finish a long rest, you can choose what lunar phase manifests its power through your magic: full moon, new moon, or crescent moon. We can basically just copy paste this and reword it for our purpose. Once you cast a spell in this way, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. So actually, I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to pull this over to our circle spells. So actually, we're going to get rid of this, because we're not using those no more. And we're going to put it right here. Oops. I'm going to do it with paste without formatting. There we go. Okay. So you learn additional spells when you reach certain levels in this class, as shown as on the Coral spells table. Whoop. Each of these spell counts as a druid spell for you. So this is a great thing to do for homebrews. You just find something that's similar and just copy paste it. You're done. You get all the wording right. It's great, but it doesn't count against the number of druid spells you know. Okay. So then we have Coral spells, and then we have sorcerer level, and this actually should be in a table. So let me create a table here. Insert table, and we've got 2. We probably want like, how many do we need? 6? 5? I think it's 5. So coral spells, the first one would be Living Coral. And just for a placeholder name, Decayed Coral. Hive Insider, Genie Warlock inspired spell list then? Yeah, it's funny because I was doing something similar with Draconic Paladin recently. Oh, yeah, exactly. We can look at the Warlock, because I think you're right. The Genie Warlock does the same thing. Oh, no, it's a little bit different, where the Genie Warlock you choose at the beginning of your when you get the subclass, obviously, but you stick to that the whole time. So you can't switch between like a Dow spell and a Jin spell and a Freedy spell. You have to choose one of those, and then you get that one along with the regular Genie spells. So maybe we could do something like that, where you have regular spells for your Druid, like Coral themed, and then one for Living Coral, one for Death. Yeah, so Decayed Coral. Let's do that. There we go. We're going to move this one over here, and we're going to do just Coral. Just Coral for the regular stuff. So we have Wall of Stone and Spike Growth. So we're just gonna write it down. I'm not gonna worry about levels. Wall of Stone. And then we have Spike Growth. And maybe Spike Growth would be Decayed Coral. We could put it over here. I'm going to get rid of that. And then whenever you finish along, you can choose what Coral phase manifests its power through your magic. Living Coral or Decayed Coral. And then while in the chosen phase, you can cast Spell of Associate Phase. Okay, so this is something that we don't know what we're going to do with yet, but we're going to... Oh, that's not what I want to highlight it. There we go. So we can look at it later and see if we want to include something like that in the future. Okay, so going back to... Where were we? You know what I should do is bring up the OGL. The Systems Reference Document. That way we can see actually the spells that we are able to use. There we go. So if you ever want to do homebrew and you want to publish it, this is also a good tip for anybody who ever wants to do that, is you go to the SRD or the Systems Reference Document, OGL. Any of those searches will probably get you where you need to go, and it will give up this document. And then as simple as this, we can look at this and go Control F, which is Control Find, or finding something in this document, and we can do Wall of Stone, right? And so once it searches it, oh, here we do. We have Wall of Stone. So we can use that spell, right? And so actually, ooh, this is cool. It put us right through Druid spell slot or Druid spells. This is great. So like Coast already has some things that we could get inspiration from. Water Breathing, Water Walk, Control Water, Freedom of Movement, Conjure Elemental, Scrying. The only thing that really speaks to me there is Water Breathing. So I'm going to copy over Water Breathing here. and maybe we can use that as well. Hey, Christian Roberts in the chat. Hello, another one of my players. Welcome. Oh yeah, for the Decayed Coral, absolutely. So we have Arms of Hadar. And then we can look at that spell just to see exactly what it does. Let's see what else. I saw another one. It says, but the Genie Warlock does allow you to access damage, bludgeon, cold, thunder, fire. Gotcha. But we could have something similar with just lightning and slashing necrotic. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It probably won't have as many options as, say, the Genie Warlock when it comes to, you know, the options they can choose at the beginning. But I'm sure I want it to be fleshed out as much as I can. Don't worry. If we want to go necromancy route, we could have Animate Dead as a spell. We'll put that as well. Animate Dead. See how that goes. Arms of Oh, it's a tentacle spell. Yeah, of course. Arms of Hadar. It's dead tentacles. Absolutely. The ghost of the tentacles that was there. Peep our little Pokemon friend here, right? The ghost of little tentacles. If we wanted to do... Oh, maybe the subclass ability is being able to swap between each ability after a long rest. Yeah. I think we're going to do that. Let's see. Another great... If we're going to focus on the spell list right now, why don't we just go for that? And what we want to do is probably look at, I would say, 2 spell lists. Because if we're going to do some research, we're going to go to see what's actually available. So Druid is one that we want to go to, but I want to go to the Warlock one first. Oop, not that. So the Warlock one, the spells list on this side, the Warlock spells here. So if you click on this, it'll bring up all the spells of the Warlock, right? And actually, I'm gonna fix my thing here because I need, with the Druid case, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th. I'm gonna move these over here. Great. Okay, so we have 2nd spell. We learned this one at 2nd spell, or 2nd level. Then we have 3rd level, 5th level, 7th, and 9th. Wait, right? Yeah, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th. Okay, I'm not crazy. 5th, 7th, and then we need one more. Oops. It's going to let me do another one. What am I doing wrong, guys? What am I doing wrong? There we go. And 9th. Okay. So we're going to go to the Warlock spell list, and we're going to look specifically at, say, 2nd level spells. And we're going to see what we're going to find. Are we granting Tidal Wave already? No, but we absolutely could. Absolutely could. Blur, that could be true. That could be one. We could put Blur in there for Decayed. Tidal Wave might be a really good, just a regular coral. Just you get that as a death, decay, or a living coral. Okay, so we have things like Cloud of Daggers, Crown of Madness. We're going to see what we want to give them as a 2nd level spell. So remember, with our 2nd level spell, we can only give them one. You'd have one coming from the base coral spells, and then one coming from either the living coral or decayed coral. And so if we want to choose one kind of necromancy tough one, we can only choose one in that vibe. So with our 2nd level spells, we have quite the selection here. Darkness, I think, would be a really good one. So Darkness, we have Earthbind, Enthrall. What does Enthrall do? Okay, so but Charming. Hold Person, Invisibility, Mind Spike, some psychic damage, Mirror Image, Misty Step, Ray of Enfeeblement. Okay, here we go. This might be a good one. A black beam of innervating energy springs from your finger towards a creature within range. Make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target deals only half damage with the weapon attacks that uses strength until the spell ends. So, so I think that might be an underutilized spell, but I don't think that's part of the OGL. So let us check. Enfeeblement. It is. So we can use that. Okay, so let's look at what else they have. Shadow Blade. Interesting, but I don't think it would be great for a druid. Shatter. Spider Climb. Spray of Cards. Suggestion. And Warp Sense. So Blur is second level for the record. Okay. Yeah. So we can do Blur. What do you guys want to do? Should we do that? Should we do another poll? If we want to do Ray of Enfeeblement, Darkness, or something like Blur. So let's do that. Or we can keep looking for another one. So, Decay Spell, second level. We'll do Darkness, Ray of Enfeeblement, and Blur. And then we'll do Keep Looking. Okay. There we go. Go crazy, guys. Mirror Image, kind of similar to Blur. Yeah, we could do Mirror Image. To me personally, I'm struggling getting the fantasy of that, like that expectation. Ooh, I want to be a Decay Druid. Why am I splitting up into different illusion forms of myself? Like, how does that tie in? And if you guys can let me know and help me kind of make that connection. I personally am struggling with that connection, but it is. Crown of Madness could also be another one. They become charmed by you. They must, each of its turn make a melee attack against a creature other than itself. So kind of like a madness kind of thing. Cloud of Daggers I could kind of see with like a cloud of sharp corals, right? Just jutting corals that kind of grow in one place. That'd be interesting to kind of reflavor. Let's see. Let's go to, maybe we can look at Wizard just really quick and see if they have any other second level spells that we can look at. Okay, so we have Acid Arrow, which would also be kind of fun. Kind of like what you guys were talking about, a harpoon, one of those harpoon things. And that could be that could honestly be part of the living one. So maybe we'll go over here. We'll add to the living coral Acid Arrow. Okay, and then we have Air Bubble. That might be an interesting one, Air Bubble. But if we have water breathing, that should take care of itself. Alter Self, Arcane Lock, Arcanist Magic Aura, Blindness Deafness. There's the Blur. Blindness Deafness, maybe. Cloud of Daggers. Detect Thoughts, Dust Devil, Earthbind. I saw one of you guys looking at Earthbind or mention Earthbind. Basically just makes someone with a flying speed reduced to 0. I don't know, especially in a water campaign. I can imagine people being in an underwater campaign for the whole campaign and they choose a coral druid, and there will be no flying creatures in that kind of campaign. Enlarge Reduce, Flock of Familiars, Gentle Repose, Gust of Wind. Hey, turns out wizards have a lot of spells, guys. Knock, Levitate, Locate Object, Melf's Acid Arrow, same one. Phantasmal Force is kind of another one of your illusion, necrotic kind of thing. Tasha's Mind Whip, Vortex Warp, Warp Sense, Web, and Wither and Bloom. Wither and Bloom could be interesting too. But I know that one's not part of the OGL. Darn it. That would have been a really fun one, though. It's a Wither and Bloom, like life and death. Perfect for what we were doing. Darn. We're giving this druid a swim speed or water breathing as base features. Yeah, absolutely we are. Absolutely we are. We could just do a water breathing as a base feature, but I think if we include water breathing to its actual spell list, that might be better, because then he could breathe water or she could breathe water, and then so could everybody else in their party. So wizards and druids are the 2 spell list MVPs. Yeah. And you got to be careful, right? Because like when we give this water druid subclass spells, they already have access to any of the druid spells, which are, you have a lot of water spells on there, right? So whatever spells we do use, they'll just be permanently there. They'll have that available, but it's just going to be permanently there. So you kind of got to want a mix of both, of spells that aren't normally on the spell list for druids, and also spells that are, but now they don't need to pick them. They just have it automatically, right? Yeah. Where were we? Oh yeah, the Ray of Enfeeblement. Hey, that one. Great. So we'll put as our Ray of Enfeeblement as our second level spell. Great. Okay, so now this is gonna take a while, but I think this is kind of the basis, the start of it. Before I forget, I'm gonna go to this another circle feature, which I think is also really good to have it at like the moment you get this druid, you have this for sure, which is a swimming speed, right? I think for sure, being able to breathe underwater, I think again we'll kind of go into that spell, but swimming speed, absolutely. Yeah, water breathing and water walk is already on the druid list, but then again, it's something that if we want automatically prepared or not. Ooh, bark skin. Yes, bark skin would be good. Would that be in living coral, decayed coral? Probably living coral. Actually, no. Maybe we do that as just a regular, because I could see a bark skin being a living or a dead coral. So third level. Here we go. Back to this. We're going to go third. Right, because that's what this is, right? Third level? Oh, no. You get it at third level. I apologize. We're going to change this real quick. So Ray of Enfeeblement will be here. We didn't even look at first level spells. I don't know what I was thinking. We're going to get this one at second level. Robot Knight says, I don't think Animate Dead feels like a proper fit. It works with the necromancy aspect, but this is supposed to be a tank druid. It could, I mean, it could be a tank druid. I think as a druid, you're going to be a tank either way. I think it's, you know, the hidden tank class. But here we go. So we have Absorb Elements, which could be fun. Alarm, Burning Hands, Catapult, Cause Fear. That could be a contender. Charm Person, Color Spray. What does Color Spray? That could be a good living one. But hey, focus, Riker. We're looking at the dead ones. We're looking at dead ones right now. Disguise Self, Distort Value, Detect Magic. False Life. Ooh, this one might be really good. False Life. Bolstering yourself with Necromantic Facsimile of Life, you gain 1d4 plus 4 temporary hit points for the duration. So this one is a false sense of life, or a life coming from death, which would be, I think, a really good one. Featherfall, Find Familiar, Floating Disc, Fog Cloud. Let's see. Ice Knife, maybe. Magic Missile, Ray of Sickness could also be a good one. Ray of Sickness. It hits them with 2d8 poison damage and must make a Constitution saving throw or also be poisoned, right? Silvery Barbs, Sleep Snare. None of the Tasha stuff is on the OGL, unfortunately. And Witch Bolt. Yes, that one. I don't know which one I don't know which one you. I'm not looking at the chat. I don't know which. When you say yes, that one, I don't know what you meant. You might have to choose or let me know which one. Hive Insider says False Life. Great. Mickey B, welcome. The decay side is kind of similar to Spores Druid. Yeah. And that would be another thing to consider as well. And probably as I continue making this subclass, checking back to the Spores Druid. We can even look at it now. Some of these spells we can just take from them because they do have Animate Dead. So maybe not taking Animate Dead because some of you don't think it was really for them. It would be a way to not encroach on that, right? They do have Chill Touch, which is kind of the necrotic damage. So if we choose something like the where was it? Where did it go? We have something like Ray of Sickness where it does poison damage instead of necrotic damage. That could also be a difference. Gentle Repose keeps them from being undead. That could be something that we choose as well. But I think I like our where do we go? I like our Ray of Enfeeblement. Blight, Confusion, Cloud Kill, and Contagion. I feel like we're the way that at least I'm kind of looking at it, and the way I feel like you guys are looking at it. I don't think that these are kind of in our thoughts, or these spells are in our thoughts, which is good for us, where we're keeping somebody else or looking at other things. Armor of Agathis. Oh, duh. Armor of Agathis. How did we not think about that? Is that even on this list? Wow, it's not on this list. You know what, to make it easier, I'm going to make another one. So we can look at Warlock and Wizard spells for this. Here we go. Okay, so I'm thinking it might be... it might be between Armor of Agathis and False Life. So let's do that. Don't laugh at my spelling, guys. I spelled it right once. That's enough. There we go. So yeah, Arms of... Oh, but then there's also Arms of Hadar. Oh, shoot. Hold on. I'm going to end that. I'm going to try it again. We got to put Arms of Hadar on there. Arms of Hadar. Armor of Agathis. And then we have False Life. Okay. So Armor of Agathis, it does ice damage or cold damage, which is like the coldness of the depths. I can definitely see that as well. Arms of Hadar, you take 2d6 necrotic damage. It is a little bit bigger of an area, which is nice, and like we, the tentacles that we talked about, which would be really, really fun. Successful save, the creature takes half damage, which is also nice. Let's see, what else we got here, guys? Okay, we're going to look at... I want to look back at some of those spells that were of the Druids. So we have Arctic, Coast. See if we can use any of these. Swamp, maybe. So, yeah, again, so we have Acid Arrow and Darkness. Water Walk, Stinking Cloud, Freedom of Movement, Locate Creature, Insect Plague, and Scrying. Okay, so yeah, so different enough still. Arctic has Hold Person and Spike Growth, Sleet Storm and Slow. Freedom of Movement, Ice Storm, Community with Nature, and Cone of Cold. Okay, so it looks like our Armor of Agathis basically wins over. 80%. Yep, there it is. Armor of Agathis it is. Armor of Agathis, if that's how it's spelled. And moving on to... Is it third level spells next? Yeah. There we go. Third level spells for Warlock and third level spells for Wizard. Okay, here we go. So Animate Dead is on the table. Antagonize, I don't think that one's part of the OGL. Ooh, Bestow Curse. That could be interesting. Counterspell, Clairvoyance, Dispel Magic, Enemies Bound, Erupting Earth, Fast Friends, Fear, Feign Death, Fireball, Flame, Arrows Fly, Galder's Tower, Gaseous Form, Glyph of Warding, Haste, Hypnotic Pattern. Hypnotic Pattern might be a good one for the main coral, so Living Coral. We'll just put that down. Insight Greed, Intellect Fortress, Lehman's Tiny Hut, Life Transference, Lightning Bolt. What's Life Transference again? It's not part of the OGL, is that? Nope. Mirror, major image, so illusion, non-detection, protection from energy. Remove Curse Sending, Sleet Storm Slow, Spirit. Ooh, Spirit Shroud. That might be a good one. Spirit Shroud. I'm kind of excited on that one. Stinking Cloud. Summon Shadow Spawn, summon Undead, Tidal Wave. Ooh, Tidal Wave. Okay, so Tidal Wave we want to look at, but I think that was for the kind of living coral or the main coral. Tiny Hut, Tiny Servant, Vampiric Touch, Wall of Sand, Wall of Water, and Water Breathing. Oh, Hunger of Kadar. Okay, we got to look at Warlock spells too. So Hunger of Hadar is on there. I think that's basically it. Okay, cool. So Hunger of Hadar. Bestow Curse could be flavored like you cause some sorts of coral to grow on them and making it difficult terrain for them. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely makes sense. Definitely makes sense. I love Hunger of Hadar. So a 20-foot radius of blackness and bitter cold appears, centered on the point within with range lasting for the duration. Ah, so good. This void is filled with a cacophony of soft spirits and slurping noises that can be heard up to 30 feet away. No light, magical, otherwise can illuminate the area. Creatures fully in the area are blinded. So the void creates a warp in the fabric of space. The area is difficult terrain, so kind of like we were talking about, making things difficult terrain. Any creature that starts its turn in the area takes 2d6 cold damage. Any creature that ends its turn in the area must succeed on dexterity saving throw or take 2d6 acid damage. The only other one that I was kind of excited about was the Spirit Shroud, which you call for spirits of the dead that go kind of help you deal extra damage when they hit you, but that one might be a little bit better for more like a melee attacker. So is Hunger of Hadar SRD? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And as Christian said, it's part of the player's handbook, but we can double check. Hunger of Hadar. Let it load. Life transference is another, but I'm pretty sure. Uh-oh. Did I spell it wrong? No? Hunger of Hadar? Uh-oh, guys. Might not be in here. It might not be in here. Let's try one more. Hunger. Just look at hunger. Hunger of Hadar is not SRD. That sucks. That sucks. Speak with Dead, you can grow decay coral on them. Yeah, but I think again, it's a great reflavoring if you have the spell some way and can use it, but I don't think it's like the essence of a decayed coral. Shoot. Okay, so if we can't do Hunger of Hadar, now what? But I would definitely use that in I would homebrew that to use that in the actual subclass myself. Yeah, dang. What else do we have? Let's take a look at Spirit Shroud again. So it's any attack you make, but it's within a creature within 10 feet of you. So you can do it with a cantrip. It doesn't have to be a melee attack, but it is so close anyways. And as a druid, you're probably going to be a little bit further away. Let's see. Vampiric Touch, maybe. Target takes 3d6 necrotic damage and you regain hit points. Is level 3 our bane? Is that gonna be our one that we struggle with? We might end up going Bestow Curse. So while curse, target has disadvantage on ability checks, or target has disadvantage on attack rolls, or the target makes a wisdom saving throw at the end of the turn and he could do nothing. Or your attacks deal an extra 1d8 necrotic damage. Oh, well, there you go. So you basically have that in the Spirit Shroud, but in Bestow Curse. So we might end up just doing that. Real quick, see if there's anything else we can use. Maybe Fear. Feign Death? No. Intellect Fortress. Spirit Guardians. Yeah, we could use Spirit Guardians maybe. We might even need to pull up the Cleric spell list, see if there's anything else on there. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll pull up the Cleric spell list. And 3rd level spells. Okay. Yeah, Bestow Curse is also on there. Feign Death, Magic Circle, Magic Healing, or Mass Healing Word. Speaker to Spirit Guardians. Here we go. Spirit Guardians. So this one, they flit around you with distance of 15 feet, good or neutral. Their spectral forms appears as angelic or fey, your choice. And this could be just like little fishes that died along with your coral, which I think would be really, really cool. End its turn there, make a wisdom saving throw, and then each turn it takes 3d8 necrotic damage or radiant damage, depending on what you want to do. I know this doesn't have to be the spell list, but what if coral druids also get flesh to stone, petrify with coral? Yes. Yes. That is freaking dope. Absolutely, that's freaking dope. What spell list is that? What is that? Flesh to stone. I want to know what level that is. It's 6th level. Okay. So 6th level. We get that at... Oh, shoot. And it could be... So you can't get it for your spell list because it's a little too high of a level. However, Flesh to Stone to Petrify is phenomenal. And I'm definitely going to write that down as maybe a circle as a feature that you get. Let's say what? Maybe 10th? No, you don't get 6th level until after. So the 14th level feature could include that it Flesh to Stone. So Flesh to Stone spell could be part of that feature. Brilliant, and I love that because it's that slowly turning into a bone version of your living self, and that is so cool. That is so cool. Okay, so basically what we have for the 3rd level spell is Bestow Curse, where you get a bunch of things. Necrotic, you curse your enemy, pretty great. Or Spirit Guardians, which I also think would actually be like a good way to, or a good spell to just put on the general coral spell list, because you could have a living coral Spirit Guardians or a death coral Spirit Guardians, and the one would be the radiant damage and one would be the necrotic damage. So I'm going to pull up another poll, and we're going to basically choose between the two, because that's all I'm really seeing as far as options for this goes. So Spirit Guardians, and then the other one would be Bestow Curse. And if we don't do Spirit Guardians for this one, we might put it on the coral, the average coral one. So 3rd. Okay, so there you go. Robot Knight, I know it's too high as to get a proper spell on the spell list, but it could be an ability. Yeah. I feel like I'm a little behind on you guys. As far as maybe I think I'm all right with streaming. Yeah, my bit rate's doing great. Okay, maybe it's just a little slow. That's fine. What if we could replace water breathing? Would Coral Druid just get an ability to allow allies around them to breathe water like a Paladin aura? So, like we said before, the Coral Druid already has water breathing as a spell in her repertoire. And so she has it no matter what. So if we want to replace that spell slot with something else, I don't feel too bad about that. So okay, so we like Spirit Guardians. Okay, well, we're definitely doing that then. We'll end the poll for Spirit Guardians for the Decayed Coral. Goodbye, Arms of Hadar. We loved you. Okay, what's next? 4th level spells, which obviously comes after 3. I don't know what I was thinking. Oh, man. Do we use the Creative Commons or the OGL SRD? So the one that I have is, at least I clicked on the SRD. Yeah, Creative Commons. Yeah, this one is the Creative Commons. So the most recent one that was available. Unless I'm mistaken that they're different in some other way. If we wanted to let the druid give others their coral armor, we could give water breathing as part of that, sort of like giving your ally a diving suit. Yeah, yeah. So 5th level spells don't come after that. It's the 5th level that they get, but if you can see, it's plant growth and revivify are 3rd level spells that they get at 5th level. So at 7th level, which we're doing next, is 4th level spells like Aura of Life and Fire Shield. So with 4th level, we have things like Arcane Eye, Banishment. Hey, Black Tentacles, maybe? Going straight to the SRD on that one. Tentacle. Hey, we have Black Tentacles. Woohoo! We have Black Tentacles. When a creature enters the area of effect first time or starts its turn there, takes 3d6 bludgeoning damage or restrained by the tentacles. A creature that starts the area is already strained. So this one's more like octopus in less like necrotic shadow tentacles, but it's still something. We have Blight, which is also a really good one. It does a bunch of necrotic damage, especially on plant things. See, Control Water. That's something that the Druid already gets as well. Let's see. Fabricate, Fire Shield, Gate Seal, Ice Storm, Polymorph. Oh, it's Spirit of Death. What? Oh, that's the Book of Many Things. Definitely not in the OGL. Victrolic Sphere. Ooh, this one might be good. Okay, so you point at a location within range. 1 foot diameter ball of emerald acid streaks there and explodes in a 20-foot radius sphere. Each creature in the area must take a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, a creature takes 10d4 damage and another 5d4 acid damage at the end of its next turn. On a successful save, a creature takes half the initial damage and no damage at the end of its turn. Okay, pretty good. Then let's look at Cleric spells. There's only 4th level Cleric spells. Death Ward could be an interesting one. Death Ward could be an interesting one. And Stone Shape, if it could be Coral Shape, that'd be fun. Blight, yeah, Blight might be good. Curse of the Bone Coral, dragging more organisms into its fate. Yeah. Hive Insider. There's not a lot that's SRD, yeah, and not part of the Druid already, though, of course, we can give them Druid spells anyway if we really want to, yeah. And I feel like Druid spells, at the end of the day, will kind of be filling in the gaps if we can't find anything else. But if we can find other spells that are equally flavorful, that's the word, equally flavorful to put instead, then that just adds to our Druid repertoire. Let's look at Warlock. Yeah, Warlock here. Also got a new mic, and I hope it sounds amazing. Doesn't pick up any of the background stuff. Here we go. Does the Captain Logbook already have spells? I don't think so. So the Captain's... We'll look it up on this... this side thing here, because you usually have like a list of things that are included. So here's the Captain's Logbook, guys. The thing that I've been talking about this whole time that we're actually making the subclass for, this Kickstarter here. So what's in the book? Here we go. Ship battle and navigation mechanics, customizable ship crafting, piece together the Logbook secrets, over 20 islands to explore, 5 new nautical subclasses, and 50 new magic items. So it doesn't say that it includes a spell or any spells. Could we make one? Maybe. But as far as what was agreed upon, it wasn't included in the agreement. So no spells so far, but it does have all of those things in it. Let's see. Elemental Bane. Gate Seal, Hallucinatory Terrain, Sickening Radiance, Spirit of Death. Oh, we looked at that one. Silly me. Okay, so Death Ward is a contender, at least for me. I saw another one that Resilient Sphere. Is that one on here? Resilient Sphere. So it's encloses somebody in like a ball of energy, and nothing can pass through it. It'd be interesting to make that like a magic coral that grows around them. I definitely feel like it'd be fun to flavor that one as well. Um, Stone skin. Stone skin is what level spell? Oh, is it? Oh, apparently, is it one word? Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. That's why. Stone shape, flesh to stone, stone skin. So this one's the 4th level, but also available to druids. So it turns the flesh of a willing creature you touch as hard as stone until the spell ends. The target has resistance to non-magical bludgeoning. So we could do this one, where a lot of you talked about giving up your coral or providing coral armor for other people. This could be a way to do that. Instead of taking up a whole feature to say like, hey, share all of your coral and give the armor to everybody, including a stone skin would actually be kind of good to have just as a spell for other people. It doesn't be included in the druid spell list, but also very flavorful. Wow, my mouth today. Resilient Sphere, Robot Knight says, could also be a bubble that encases someone like SpongeBob. It could come out of living coral. Yeah. Okay, I'm actually getting a lot of people saying Resilient Sphere, which is very interesting. I did not expect that. So let's do this. We have Vitrolic Sphere, which is some interesting damage, but I didn't see anybody kind of go for that. Resilient Sphere is one. Death Ward, Blight. Okay, I think it's time for a poll, guys. So we have Blight, Death Ward, Resilient Sphere. And what was the other one that we were looking at? Was there another one we were looking at? Ooh, Sickening Radiance. Creature moves within the spell, takes 4d10 radiant damage, or suffers exhaustion. Maybe. Okay, I think that was it then. With the Blight. Oh, Black Tentacles. Duh. Black Tentacles. Okay, putting up that poll now. Okay. As a person who played a Peace Cleric, the spell is super fun to use, useful for combat and shenanigans. Yeah. I think that basically trapping any bad guy is kind of fun. Sickening Bioluminescence. Oh, that would be cool. Like a Sickening Radiance, but Bioluminescence. Yeah. And I think when I eventually make the Bioluminescent Circle of the Abyss Druid, maybe adding that one would be really good. Robot Knight, I said, I feel we need to remember we are making a Coral Druid to be Water-themed Druid. While I love the life and death motif we are working with, we need to remember the origin of the task. That's fair. That's fair. With the water-based Druid, we can, I guess, focus on this part here, or the actual coral part being the water-based Druid, or the water portion, where it's the life and death, the living in the decayed coral, but then the overall coral part of it is the water type, if that makes sense. Okay. It looks like Resilient Sphere is one, which is actually interesting because it's only about 57%. Let's see where the other... So we had Black Tentacles for 28%, Blight for 14%, Death Ward 0%. Okay. I guess I was the only fan of Death Ward. Okay, Resilient Sphere then. Resilient Sphere. Great. So moving on to the next one. We're going to go to, I think it's the 5th level. All right, this is the last one. Great. We're making good progress. 5th here. We're going to look at Warlock's 5th level. And we're going to look at Cleric's 1st level. Yeah, I think I agree. So Deathward was good, but the others, yeah, they're better. They tend to be better. This is why we're doing like a back and forth. We're doing a community thing because obviously more minds are better than one. So 5th level spell for wizards, you have Animate Objects, Arcane Hand, Cloud Kill, Cone of Cold, Control Winds, Creation, Dance Macabre, Dawn, Dream. Ooh, Enervation might be really good. So an Tendril of Inky Darkness reaches out from you. Target must make a Dexterity saving throw. On a successful save, the target takes 2d8 necrotic damage and the spell ends. On a failed save, the target takes 4d8 necrotic damage until the spell ends. And you can use your reaction on each of your turns to automatically deal 4d8 necrotic damage to the target. Spell ends if you use your action to do anything else, which is pretty good. Whenever the spell deals damage to the target, you regain hit points equal to half of the necrotic damage dealt. Pretty great. Immolation might be another one. Oh, no, that's fire damage. Burns the person. Mislead, modify memory, negative energy flood would be another good one, maybe. This usually gets your necrotic. They rise up as a zombie. So the target takes a Constitution saving throw, taking 5d12 necrotic damage on a failed save, and then half as much as damage on a successful one. Then turns into a zombie if they die. Pass wall, planar, seeming, skill empowerment, synaptic static. What's that one about? Psychic damage, 20-foot radius sphere might be good. Teleportation circle, wall of force, wall of light, wall of stone. Okay, so here's the wall of stone. That would also be really, really good. A hold monster could be good for trapping people in coral. Yeah, but it's a wrong saving throw to make sense. Oh, yeah, I guess that's fair. Then we have warlock spells. Dance Macabre, Drew, see if we have anything new. So kind of the same thing. We got Enervation, negative energy flood. And then our cleric spells. Guardian of Faith. Oh, I thought I said only 5th spells. There we go. Dispel Evil and Good, Greater Restoration, Hollow, Legend Lore, Raise Dead. Okay, so it looks like we're looking at Wall of Stone, Negative Energy Flood, or Enervation. Let's see if they are a part of our SRD here. In fact, we didn't look at Resilient Sphere, so make sure that that's in there. Oh, fine. You're gonna make me type out Resilient with my excellent spelling. Okay, we got it. Resilient Sphere is in here. Great. So let's look at Energy Flood. Nope. Energy Flood is not in there. Let's look at Enervation. Yeah, I spelled it right. Not in there either. So might be our only option is... Darn, those are good spells too, is Wall of Stone. I mean, unless there's anybody that disagrees, I think that's might be what we go through or go to. Contagion, maybe. Yeah. We'll do Wall of Stone. Perfect. Okay, now the process all over again. Living Coral. So Living Coral. Let's go. Let's work our way back. Let's work our way back for this one. With the Living Coral, I would imagine having a lot more Druid spells in here. So maybe we can go back and do this. We're going to be able to get all this. I don't know if we're going to be able to even get our spells all by the time we have to close out here. Okay, well, let's look at the Druid spells for 5th level. And see if we got anything good. And we could probably look at both, just to try to hurry up here. We could probably look at both Coral and Living Coral for this one. So we have Wrath of Nature, which would be very cool to reflavor that as corals, or just water in general, which would be really, really interesting. Wall of Stone, okay, Tree Stride, Transmute Rock, Summon Draconic Spirit, Scrying, Reincarnate, Planar Binding, Maelstrom. So a swirl of 5 foot deep water appears. Yeah, that probably definitely needs to be on the list if we want the main coral to be all water stuff. Insect Plague, Greater Restoration, Gia's Control, Winds, Contagion, Conjure Elemental, Commune with Nature, Awaken, Anti-Life Shell. Okay. Yeah. Let's see if anybody else got anything else as far as water. No, I didn't expect anything on the Clerics or the Warlock spell list, but maybe Cleric. Commune. It's like it could be like a commune with nature, but I think that's one level under. I think that might be 4th level. Flame Strike, Gias, Greater Restoration, Hollow, Legend Lore. Okay, not seeing anything there, so we'll move on to Wizards. Conjure Elemental might be fun. Like a Conjure Elemental would just be like but keeping it to a water elemental. It's like, as a druid, which one would you more rather have just as, not, because again, you get both of these as a druid spell on the druid spell list, but which one would you rather have readily available to you that you don't want it or don't need to get otherwise? I'm probably actually leaning towards more of Conjure Elemental, but we'll see. Creation, Innervation, Negative Energy. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do another poll with... Oops, which ones did I actually have? Yeah, okay. Maelstrom and Summon Elemental. And in fact, maybe I think actually it's Conjure. Is it Conjure or... Okay, so it is Conjure Elemental. So that is OGL. Yeah, Hypnotic Pattern would be an excellent one. And I think I'll just go ahead and add that to the Living Coral, which is 3rd level. So it'll go here in Hypnotic Pattern. But 5th level, Dispel Evil and Good for 5th level could be good. That's interesting. I'd have to, if you could explain your reasoning on that, that would be great. Dispel Evil and Good, which gets basically gives you some perks against like fiends and undead and fays and stuff. Maelstrom. Okay. Yeah, we'll good call, Hive Insider. We'll check. Maelstrom. It's an old enough spell that I'm pretty sure it is, but we'll check it again. I mean, I was wrong before in this exact stream, and I will be wrong again. I guess I'm wrong again. It looks like Maelstrom got 50% anyways, so I guess we're doing Conjure Elemental. Great. So let's do, yeah, so Conjure Elemental. Oops. And which one is Bark Skin again? Because Bark Skin is 4th level, right? So that would actually be a really good one here. Bark Skin for the Living Coral, because you're actually growing coral on yourself, which would be really, really good. And then... Let's see. Look at 4th level. Let's keep going down. This is great because we're doing like 3 different spell. This would be one thing to have just one theme, and like we're looking at water spells, and we'll need to find 2 for each level, and we're good. But no, we're doing 3 different themes, like for 3 different spell lists, and so. It's a lot to kind of keep your head around, which takes a little bit longer, but it's really fun to kind of look at the different elements of what this could be. So looking at the Druid first, Watery Sphere is up for a contender, absolutely. Summon Elemental, again, would have been awesome, but Summon Elemental is not OGL. Conjure Elemental is. There's that stone skin for you. Let's see. Stone Shape, Polymorph, Locate Creature, Ice Storm, Hallucinatory Terrain, Giant Insect, Freedom of Movement. Freedom of Movement is also a really good water spell because it's like, you know, water, flowy, freedom. It's kind of the vibe. Control Water as well. Man, these are, so you have a lot of really good ones for this. Yeah, Control Water is a very, very good spell. If you're probably, like, Control Water is probably a really good one to have on your list because it's something that's so, it's used a lot. And so just having it available is really nice instead of having to pick it up otherwise. So, like, out of the three, if I was like a Water Druid and I picked one of the three, it would probably be between like Watery Sphere even and Control Water. It would be Control Water. Excuse me. For 4th level, Sickening Radiance. Somebody talked about that earlier. Unless it was me. Looking at anything for like a living coral as well. Like a living, maybe Hallucinatory Terrain would be a cool one for a living coral, but doesn't really fit the vibe unless you're doing a hallucinatory coral reef, right? I feel like coral druids need to sink ships. Maybe giving it a siege property would be kind of interesting. Maybe even doing that at high levels, doing like giving a siege property. That's actually a really cool idea. So let's look at, before we do, because I feel like Control Water is our spell, but looking at the wizard spell list one more time for just our living spell. This one could be our Black Tentacle one. Or we could just do whatever's not on our regular, or not the one that we choose. So not Control Water, our living one would be the Watery Sphere. But we also talked about Stone Skin, which is also a good one. So either one. So I feel like Watery Sphere, unless there's any other... Wait, what level is Tidal Wave at? I knew we had Tidal Wave somewhere. Oh, it's a 3rd level spell. All right, that works. So Tidal Wave would be right here. Oh, not there. Right there. And then right here would be Control Water. Great. Fire Shield. Tree? 3? What? Tidal Wave. Oh, thanks. Tidal Wave is... Fire Shield. Yeah, there's something with Fire Shield, isn't there? Fire Shield, so it's like you regain resistance to fire damage, which would work. So the attacker takes 2d8 fire damage or 2d8 cold damage. So I mean, I don't like Fire Shield. And I'm not saying I don't like Fire Shield for the Druid. I'm saying I don't like Fire Shield in general, just because like when you are a player and you look at a spell list and look at Fire Shield, you're like, Fire Shield? Like, what is that doing on a Water Druid spell list? Not because it doesn't fit, because the mechanics do, but just when you're looking at it, you're like, that doesn't sound right. Is that a typo or something else? So initially, it doesn't fit that fantasy. So, but with the living spell, so this is for the living spell list. We're gonna look at Black Tentacles. I think would be a good one. We're going to look at Stone Skin. Then we're going to look at Freedom of Movement, because I think that one also would be really good, because, you know, you'd be like a fish swimming through a coral reef. Freedom of Movement. Very good at navigating difficult terrain as far as that goes. Or we can add Watery Sphere to make up for the one that we were lost in the other direction, the other list. I think that covers it. think that was what we wanted. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so while we're looking at that, let's go ahead and go to 3rd level. Because I think, again, Tidal Wave is a really good one that I think we'll keep. But I also think Water Breathing is on there. And a couple other spells. So you just learned that corals can release pheromones. We could do a charming spell. Yeah. Honestly, like, what we could do, because we have Hypnotic Pattern already, which is a charming spell. We could really lean into that when it comes to the living coral and be like the decayed coral be more like necromancy and the living coral be more of a charming magic. So you have necromancy and enchantment. And then this one being more like evocation where you're, or conjuration where you're kind of summoning all this water magic. Watery Sphere and Tidal Wave are not SRD. Let's look. I think Watery Sphere is, just because I think I remember using it on a different homebrew subclass. I'm wrong again, really. Okay, so Watery Sphere is not one. So if you voted Watery Sphere, take your vote off now. Watery Sphere and then Tidal Wave. When it searches for a while, you know it's bound. It's not on there. Nope. Okay, so Tidal Wave, it's not a thing. Can't use it. Okay, so we're gonna look at some other things that we can use. We're gonna be even better. We're gonna find something even better. Water Walk or Water Breathing. Basically, both of those are great, right? Both of those are great. Vibrance overpowering the scenes could be a beautiful for Coral Druid. Yeah, and that's what I was saying with the Hypnotic Pattern for sure. Let's see what else we got. Tidal Wave is on there, but not SRD. Wall of Water is also really good. So let's look at that. So it's Wall of Water. Pretty sure that's there. Guess it's not. It is not on there. Water Breathing. This is the worst part of doing this too. Is just finding spells you can't do. Okay, so Water Breathing and Water Walk are on there. So I think Water Walk is more surface, where Water Breathing is underneath the water, which is where the corals are. And I feel like Water Breathing would be a way better one than Water Walk. So we're gonna put Water Breathing here. Okay, so we got that there. Wall of Stones put elsewhere. Insider. Seems today we're learning that SRD does not contain nearly as much as we hoped. It contains so little. It does. It really does. That's why you see so many people doing homebrew spells. That's why anyone that that has what's the word? Anyone that creates homebrew, like what you see on Reddit or things like that, they usually include spells as well. So we do have Bark Scare. Sorry, I'm looking at the poll that we had for our 4th level living spell, and Black Tentacles is up there and not Barkskin. So let's do that. Black Tentacles. And just to be sure, I can't remember if we looked at that before, but we're going to do Black Tentacles. And we're going to search it in our SRD. If not, we might have to go Stone Skin. It's a winner, folks. It's a winner. Great. Black Tentacles. Moving on to 3rd level spells. Oh, wait. We're on 3rd level spells. Wait, what did I miss? No, 3rd level. Haha. 2nd level spells in the 3rd level spot. See, it gets us up. That's one of my biggest pet peeves with like spells and levels. Because you have your level, but that's different from the level of spell that you can learn. So if you're like, you might be a 4th level character, but you can only learn 2nd level spells. And it is very hard to understand. Which is why I feel like a 2nd level, like a 2nd sphere of spells, or 2nd tier spells would be really, really cool. I know like Kobold Press with Tales of the Valiant are doing something like that, where they're changing the wording of level to spheres, which is way better, right? Rowan Knight, honestly, keeping Water Breathing could be just better so the party can venture with Coral Druid, even they don't. Cleric if they don't have a cleric who gets water breathing as well. Yeah, yeah. And I think that that's probably the most important one, and is why we should probably stick to that one, is just because as far as adventuring goes, where one can go, the others need to follow. Air Bubble would be fun if it wasn't SRD. We got Bark Skin, Dark Vision, Dust Devil, Earthbind. Let's see, we're looking at some water stuff here. Someone said like Hold Person might be good for, again, like a charming magic, right? A charming magic, and also maybe a paralytic. So that one might be really good for our living coral, is a Hold Person spell. Oh yeah, I did think about Coral Spray for a first level one. So instead of Acid Arrow, we'll do Color Spray, and I think that that would be a really good one. So maybe we'll look at that as well. Let's see. Locate animals or plants could be interesting. Like locating water animals, but you also look at any animals. But that's just kind of druid, so you can pick that up whether or not. I feel like that would be good just as an option on your own spell list. And I guess I wish Wither and Blue wasn't SRD, but there you go. So I don't see any water spells on second level. We might have to get creative here. Coral Spray. Did I really? Oh, guys, if you had any idea how many takes I have to get for videos because of my misspeaks, I have an underlying speech impediment that I've done really well in my life overcoming, but it crops up all the time still when I'm in front of people or when I'm recording things. Let's see. Enhance ability. No. Maybe Healing Spirit. Maybe. Moonbeam, Protection from Poison, Skywrite, Spike Growth. Again, Spike Growth might be good because of the Coral Essence would be good. That would be probably what I would be going for. Let's see if any other classes have anything else that we can use. Mirror Image, Misty Step, Shatter, Spider Climb, Suggestion. Let's look at the Cleric spell list. Calm Emotions might be good. Kind of the serenity of the water and serenity and beauty of things. Could also be a good one of Calm Emotions. Yeah, that's true. Moonbeam and water tides are affected by the moon, so we could look at that. Let's start this poll here. It's just so that I have these written down. So Moonbeam as one. Which was the other one? Hold Person, I feel like would be the other one, but we're gonna do them. We're gonna focus on the main Coral spell that both versions will get. Spike Growth is another one for Coral. Okay, and then Clerics. Oh yeah, Calm Emotions. Calm Emotions might be a contender for the living Coral as well, just the charming aspect of it. Enhance Ability, Prayer of Healing, Silence, Zone of Truth, no, okay. All right, last but not least, we're looking at the wizard spells. Again, we're looking at Acid Arrow just because, oh, that's funny. So Acid Arrow's over here. Acid Arrow because of the barbs that can come from living coral and the paralytics and the poisons and things that come from those living creatures. Also very, very cool. Locate Object, Prayer of Healing. Oh, no, we're on this one. Blur comes up again. We could probably use that. Detect Thoughts. Gentle Repose. Levitate, Locate Object, Mirror Image, Misty Step, Phantasmal Force, See Invisibility, Shatter, Spider Climb, Vortex, Warp Sense, Web, and Wither and Bloom. Okay, so I think we'll go with those three for this one. So Moonbeam, Spike Growth, or Calm Emotions for this one. And then it might be Acid Arrow or Or it could be Barkskin? No, Barkskin was another one. Or a Hold Person. Hold Person. That's what the other one was. So like Acid Arrow or Hold Person. Which is interesting because I didn't. If you would have told me Hold Person for a living coral at the beginning, I'd be like, nah. But now it may kind of make sense, doesn't it? Yeah, let's check SRD while we're looking at that. Great. Hive Insider, you are the best. You keep reminding me to do that, and I'm glad. So Acid Arrow, let's look. It is. So Acid Arrow is on there. Let's look at the Hold Person. Pretty sure that one's on there. Yep, Hold Person. Moonbeam. Pretty sure that one's on there. Yep. Spike Growth. Also on there. And then any other one? What was the other one? That was it. Okay. Well, hey, Spike Growth 1. All right. So Spike Growth for Coral. Now let's do the other one for Acid Arrow and Hold Person for the living coral. Oops. There we go. And they're basically almost there, you guys. So while we're doing that, I'm going to change this to the first level so we can start looking at those. There we go. Uh-oh, it's 50-50 right now, guys. Who's going to be the tiebreaker? Who's going to be the tiebreaker? Okay, so while we're waiting for that, I might have to be the tiebreaker, you guys. Absorb elements. Let's see. Oh, create or destroy water. That's a really good one to have at first level as well. Let's see. Cure wounds, earth tremor, entangle, fog cloud, healing word, ice knife. Oh, there's not a lot of first level for druids. Interesting. Create or destroy water might be our best bet. Create or destroy water. I might not even have to look at the rest of these. We're going to put that in. Create or destroy water. And just because now I'm paranoid, we're going to look at the SRD. We're good. Create or destroy water. Wait. That's the Ring of Elemental command. And that's the only reference of create or destroy water. That might be not usable. So create or destroy water is within the Ring of Water Elemental command as an item, but does not appear as a spell you can use. Alter Self is also an option actually, because Alter Self, you can create gills on yourself, and is basically a water spell that we're just going to put it here as a placeholder that you get before water breathing, so you yourself can breathe water before you can allow everybody else to. So I think that would be a good one to think about. Man, that's really... That makes Robot Knight, that makes no sense that Create or Destroy Water is not on the I would be nervous to put it on there because it's not here in the SRD, and that's the only reference of it in the Ring of Elemental Water command. So I guess we could say that this druid has the Ring of Elemental command, Ring of Water Elemental command, just as a feature. But that is disappointing to say the least. Yeah. Okay, well, maybe there's something on Wizard that we can use. Alarm, Catapult, Charm Person, Color Spray. We did say that we wanted to use that for the Living spell. Detect Magic, Disguise Self, Distort Value, Expeditious Retreat, Featherfall, Fog Cloud, Ice Knife, Mage Armor, Magic Missile Shield, Sleep, and a Wave Wish Bolt. Yeah. Might have to do that unless we wanted some sort of healing magic, maybe just the water of healing, like Cure Wounds. Bless. Yeah. Alter Self might be our best bet, which also means that we don't have to use another feature to go into having to breathe, which would be just fine, right? Okay, so let's do that. Let's do Alter Self, color spray here. I gotta capitalize, otherwise it's gonna make me feel things. And then Hold Person actually ended up winning. Okay, so Hold Person as a living coral. So far under Decayed Coral, we have Armor of Agathis, Ray of Enfeelment, Spirit Guardians, Resilient Sphere, Resilient Sphere, and Wall of Stone. Living Coral is Color Splay, Hold Person, Hypnotic Pattern, Black Tentacles. And then the regular coral spells, which both get, is Alter Self, Spike Growth, Water Breathing, Control Water, and Conjure Elemental. Robot Knight. Oh, we can make Armor of Agathis the overall one. Oh, okay. And Decay getting Bane, and Living get Bless. Oh, I could see that. I could see that. So instead of Color Spray, we could have Bane. Or sorry, Bless is what you said. This one could get Bane. And then instead of Alter Self, we could do Armor of Agathis, which would be the cold, which would make sense. And I wish there was like, I really do wish there was a water type first level spell that we could use, and that is very annoying. But here we are, guys. Here we are. Okay, so before we finalize this, there's one more thing we have to do. We have to look. I don't know how we missed it, but the fifth level of the living coral. So let's look at that, and let's look at the wizard spell list, because they might have some cool enchanting stuff. So Wrath of Nature would also be a really good one. Just conjuring a bunch of fish and coral and things to fight alongside of you. Maelstrom, we wish. Commune with Nature also might be a good one. So actually, let's look at that. Let's see if we have Commune with Nature. Commune with Nature. That one is one. Great. Confusion. Maybe it's in the... Confusion is not. It's here as a Warlock invocation, but again, not as an actual spell. So that's how that works. Okay, for this one, for the wizard spell, let's look. Cone of Cold, Control, Creation, Dance Macabre, Dominate Person might be a really good one. Hold Monster. Gonna have Hold Person, but Hold Monster could be one. I know, Robot Knight. That's yeah. That's this is the struggle of homebrew for sure. Mislead's cool because it's an illusion. You get to create a duplicate of yourself, and then the duplicate goes invisible. Scrying, I saw somebody mention that one. Seeming is an illusion as well. Telekinesis, Teleportation, Circle, Wall of Force, Wall of Light, Wall of Stone. Okay, so with this one, I'm thinking maybe Hold Monster, Commune with Nature, or Wrath of Nature. So let's put those up, unless anybody else has stuff. So Wrath of Nature, and then Commune with Nature, and then the last one being Hold Monster. Could be very much like see an enemy holding a bigger fish and slowly killing it. Alter Self is level 3. Okay, so we might have to look at that then. I was under the impression it was level 1. It is 2nd level. So it would have to be here instead of Spike Growth, which would also be pretty good. So I think it might even be better fit than Spike Growth. So, yeah. So that could work. Synaptic Static, that is a... Where did it go? That is like a psychic power move. So it's a 20-foot radius sphere. Anyone in it gets 8d6 psychic damage. That's essentially it. Then Muddled Thoughts for a time, rolls d6 and subtracts it from the rolled number of attack and ability checks. So it's basically like psychic damage and a Bane on top of that. So, okay, so I'm gonna give you a couple more seconds to do Wrath, or to do the spells. We're sitting pretty at 50%. 50% here. Let's see. Let's end it here. Okay, so that's funny. We got Community of Nature, 25% Hold Monster, 25%, but Wrath of Nature is 50%. So we'll do that. Wrath of Nature, which makes sense being the living part of it because it's full of life and there's a lot of nature around. Working with coral, but that could be good for a jellyfish vibe move. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I wish you could filter the first search for SRD spells only. Yeah, that would be nice if you could search it for SRD spells, or like I could actually. I probably could actually. So advanced filters. I couldn't do SRD, but I could just do the source of being the base moves or the basic rule set. So I could do basic rules in the search here, and then that should pull up basically all of these here, which is in the SRD. But then I would still need to put these through the filter because not all of these, apparently, as we have found out today, is on there. So anyways, so I'm going to take a look at closer of these spells, but this is a great start, and I really like the direction we're going here. I will start to make a, depending on what Decayed Coral, Living Coral form, I guess you could say, is a word for it, a form that they take every day, they'll get a certain armor that they can use with their wild shape that gives them abilities like these. A Barracuda attack, lightning damage on attacks, or when they're getting hit, which I feel like would be really, really fun. So, but I think with that, it's 9:03 here at our time. It's been 2 hours that we've screamed. We could be easily here another 2 hours building this out. But I think that getting your ideas and then getting these spells as kind of the basis for that is an excellent part of that. So I think I'm going to end it here. Again, guys, if you want to see this book, this subclass in fruition after it's all done, as I work with the creators, and as you continue to give your comments in the description or in the wow, it's almost my bedtime, guys. As you make comments and feedback on this spell on this subclass in the comments below, we'll take a look at them. We'll change it how it is, and then I guess we could probably, or we're probably even going to might do updates on, if you're backing the Kickstarter, there could be updates in the future that you can look out for as well. So anyways, here's the link is in the description for the Captain's Logbook as well. So go and check it out. Tell them I sent you. But I guess with that, guys, just make the world a better place and go out there and make some homebrew. Take care, guys.